How's it going, everybody? I'm here with my friend Scotty. We're going to talk about Marvel Strike Force and how it is currently broken. Or at the very least, it was broke and they were too lazy to fix it properly. We got 3 game modes that are kind of not in the best spot. How you feeling right now, Scotty?
I'm a sad panda today.
There was lots of exciting stuff that kind of became a letdown, huh?
And the thing is, I already was like prepping myself to be like, this is gonna be bad. This is already set up for failure, and it just all came today, and I was just like, I'm very sad.
Yeah. Well, let's go get sad together. Or mad together, whichever way you want to go. So first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the Spotlight Raids and Cosmic Crucible. So Spotlight Raid Strike Teams. You know what's fun about this? There's 3 lanes. It's single lanes. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nodes total, of which you're able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 15 nodes, 8 people per raid team. You're the math guy. What's the math on that?
So yeah, 15 nodes, 8 people. That means one person only gets 1 node if you're lucky, or 5 people get 0 nodes if 3 people join before them and just do all 5, which is what happened to a lot of people today.
Yeah, so if you had 9 people in your alliance that were really happy with their sim button when these went live, your raid could have been done within the first 30 seconds. And then you get to wait. And I mean, I understand what they're trying to do with the alpha flight nodes, getting it ahead of time and then letting us make videos on it, showing you like, hey, these nodes are kind of tough. And for difficulty 2, you're probably going to need like around 5 stars to get through comfortably. So it kind of like sets that stage. But there was an issue here, right? Well, first of all, doing that already limits you to 50% of the nodes. But a bigger issue was that we were supposed to have 4 teams. But after feedback from alliance leaders, they dropped it back down to 3. But what did they forget to do when they dropped it down to 3 teams instead of 4, Scotty?
Add some nodes. I don't. You say forget, but they were told that this was going to be an issue. They chose not to add nodes.
Kind of an issue, right? So they make the change to try and help people that are, managing alliances, which I'm okay with. That's an okay thing. But they added 0 nodes. Instead, they just added 2 people to each team. And yeah, copy paste this lane right here. Copy paste this lane right here. Put it right here. That's all you need to do. Because you're taking 2 people from what would have been that team 4. And you're putting 2 people from each group into a different team. Just copy paste it. That's all you need to do. But even then, we would still be really short on nodes, right? So why don't you tell me about your thoughts about this? Because I'm torn. I see what they're going for here, but I am concerned about it. Let me know your thoughts on it.
I mean, my thoughts are, one, when they announced the 4-team thing, like, I was like, oh, that's different. Like, I didn't automatically go, oh, that's going to be awful, like, so much to manage, because I really don't see it being a lot to manage. Like, I get making raid lanes. Like, I used to lead raids for troopers for a long time. Like, I get it. Making raid lanes, it's work. But, like, it's not like it was broken up in this weird way. Like, it would just 2 people from each strike team for the other raid just go to strike team 4. So I had not really heard, at least in the alliances that we're in, anyone complain about that. We had everything set and ready to go, and then they announced earlier in the week, oh, all of a sudden we're not going to have 4 strike teams. We're going to have 3. So then we had to do all the lanes for that plan. But the automatic question that was asked was, okay, guys, so you're eliminating a large chunk of nodes. Like, you're already releasing a raid where we can only do 50% of it. And now you're going to say, this 4th team, we're going to take it away, knowing that you can only do 50% of it. We're not going to add any nodes. So this was brought up, ignored for days, and then told to us basically today, yeah, nothing's changing, noted for the future.
Yikes. That's not a great look. And there was a lot that came in with these spotlight raids. I'm not sure if it goes into this blog, but they said there was going to be like a 60% increase in T4s. But when you take away nodes from players, the T4s that are on those nodes, that's all lost, right? And then if we actually were to go in game here and look at the rewards. Sorry, Scott, I kind of got rid of you here for a second. if we were to go in here, and I'm just getting rid of everything. Hold on. Panic. All right, so if we were to go in here and we look at the rewards real quick, what we'll see through the super duper broken game is that at 40%, which is the highest you can get right now, we're getting 25 T4s, right? And as the difficulty increases, I believe it's going to jump up by 5 and then jump up by 5 again. Do you think we're actually going to be getting that 60% increase on T4s, or is that only going to come once Alpha Flight comes out? So are we actually getting maybe a deficit because of the lack of node T4s?
I think, well, because we're not going to have, like, you have to have full Alpha Flight to do these nodes.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a while. So I think there's going to be a bit of a deficit for a bit, and then the people that buy the characters will make up for it, but then the people that are waiting for release, I think they will be in a deficit. I think this hurts a lot of people, and I just also don't get it. Like, a whole raid where half of it you can't do for a long period of time. Like, if this came out as like the 5th Alpha Flight was about to be released in a couple days, I would kind of get it, because yes, you can like hit 50% and upgrade the difficulty prior to getting that 5th member, but this is so boring. Like, we're just gonna sit here waiting for that 5th member, finally get to do it, and it's not gonna be exciting in any way. Like just, I don't understand this thought process. At least with previous raids, when it was trait based, and sure, you had a skill raid team that sucked, like Invaders sucked, we got through it, and then when we finally got like Spider Society, it was a great relief, and suddenly the nodes were fun again, but we could at least like power through it. But I don't think they've ever had a raid like this where it was just like literally 50% of the raid you're not gonna be able to do for maybe a month.
Yeah, pretty rough. So here's kind of a before and after. So you get 20 T4s for doing Incursion 2 difficulty 3, but that 20 T4s, I believe that starts in like the Doom raids, is when you start getting that 20 T4s. It doesn't actually increase. So this is actually going to hurt other alliances further down too. But to your point, like, stuck at 50%, there is, I believe, 3 bosses. So that's 9 T4s on the nodes total. It feels really icky. And what they do say is that the next season, raid season rewards, will still have T4s. But when will the free-to-play truly have the entire Alpha Flight team, right? To your point. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of a deficit to start, but I guess long-term, it'll be fine. I like harp on the T4s the most, because I know that's a resource that a lot of people, not endgame alliances, oddly enough, but like up-and-coming alliances, that's one of the biggest resources they want, right?
Well, then they should have just started this raid, said, here's some Crimson, left the T4s the way they were. Then when Alpha Flight was actually out and people could 100% this raid, then say, hey, we're going to change things up, divvy out the T4s in a different way, and then I think that would have gone over better. But instead they've been like, we're going to take your T4s, you don't have this team, good luck, get fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. And speaking of good luck, get fucked, we also should talk about the Cosmic Crucible issues. Is there anything else you want to touch on the spotlight raids before we move on?
Well, I mean, I think they need to address the issue as far as like people just not being able to do anything. So
Yeah.
either they need to add that 4th team back, or they need to add just like a 4th lane.
Yeah.
So that people, like, even that is still not much to do. But now you're squeezing 8 people into 3 lanes. It's even more confusing in my opinion, because then they have to split like the 3 lanes are pretty equal. Now you have to put 2 people in one, like 3 and 3 in another. To me, that's even more confusing than having 4 teams of just 6 people and 3 lanes where it's obviously just 2, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
So add a 4th lane so it's even, and do it fast. Like, and this should have been figured out like immediately. Like, you say, hey, I'm going to take away this 4th strike team. We need to add in that somewhere, because there are T4s on the nodes. There's rewards on the nodes that they've taken away, and they haven't given that back to us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And just so everyone is aware, if you get into your raids and every single lane is completely cleared, you still want to join a team. Join a team, sit on the node, you're going to get those end rewards. It's a stupid solution to make sure you're involved in the raid, but it is one. Also, I had something else I was gonna say. Oh, the middle lane in the spotlight raids, you can't really tell right now because we're locked out from the alpha flight. That middle lane also leads to the final boss lane, so all 3 lanes are completely identical. Just so everyone is aware of that. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. They gotta add that 4th lane. They gotta do it now. It's so weird that they didn't do it ahead of time.
This feels very rushed, and even the blog posts that they've had about this were so vague that you could almost be like, you guys don't really know officially what's happening, do you? That's what it read to be. And this whole like, oh, suddenly we're taking away a team, we're not adding anything, oh, it's live, okay, bye. Just feels, it should have been well polished before releasing it. Like, there was no rush to do this. I think they need to do a little bit better, well, a lot better on rolling things out lately. Everything feels very rushed and half-baked.
Yes, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Speaking about rush and half-baked, Cosmic Crucible season issue. So technically, issue with Cosmic Crucible Season 8 was observed at the beginning of season, which caused all players to drop a Cosmic Crucible rank. This is the wrong word to say. You dropped a ranking, like it's not your numerical in-game rank, it's your league, basically, right? You didn't drop ranks because people would have dropped and gained ranks. That has nothing to do with anything. The most important thing is your trophy count. So what they're talking about is they're actually talking about this, is dropping leagues. So, I'm sorry, the game is broken here. So I was in Gold 1, and now it dropped me to Silver 3, right? That's what they're talking about. Now, this has big implications when we start looking at the drop from, let's say, from Platinum 1 to Gold 3. Dropping from 1350 all the way down to 1225 takes a long time to build back up unless you win every single match, and then you're not getting diamonds that whole way through. So their big solution was, we'll give you some free shit. So to ensure players won't be affected by this issue, we're sending Grandmaster rewards to everyone who has unlocked Cosmic Crucible. Please be on the lookout for an inbox to ensure you see the following: 50,000 Cosmic Crucible credits, 25,000 Elite Cosmic Crucible credits. That's pretty good. 600 L4 training modules. That's the equivalent of 2 weeks, I believe. 6 million gold. That's nice. And then 5,000 diamond orb fragments. So 2 orbs total. Do you think this is going to properly compensate people who might struggle to get back to whatever bracket they were in, where they were getting whatever rewards, whether that be Dawn Diamond orbs or different orbs? Like, is this one-time payment going to be enough to offset that?
I don't think so. I don't know why they couldn't just be like, oh shit, we fixed it up, let's fix everyone's ranks.
Yeah. Oh,
let's bring you up to where you were supposed to be. Our bad.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, this week Cosmic Crucible is just a scuffed. It's for practice. You're still gonna get weekend rewards, and next week everyone's gonna be bumped up to their proper league. Like, we're just gonna go back and fix it. It's again,
incompetence.
It's a lazy solution to a big problem that makes nobody happy. You're gonna be like, okay, cool, I got some stuff to spend. When you realize that 600 L4 training modules is the equivalent of like 3 levels from 95 to 98, you're gonna be like, oh shit, okay, now I got nothing to do again. And you're gonna be like, okay, now all this Crucible credits, if you're an end game player, you're not using them. If you are a mid game player, you're gonna be happy about it, and everybody else, it's really weird.
I think the biggest difference is the diamonds, and like,
yeah,
the lower end of people probably see this as like, oh great, I don't even get diamond ore fragments where I'm at, sweet. But like, people up in the Masters area, I think, are affected by this a lot. Like, it's a big difference. And I just don't know why they couldn't just be like, oh, like, we fucked up the math. This week's a wash.
Yep.
We'll put you back where you're supposed to be next week. The end.
Yep. I will say, like someone said in chat, brand new level 60 players are happy. When this happened last time, there was some issue with Crucible, and they ended up sending a diamond orb fragment out. I ended up, on the baby account, pulling a 3 diamond Kang, which I've been panic trying to build up on that baby account ever since I unlocked his node to farm. So, if you're level 60, hey, this is good for you. So new players, rejoice, because you're gonna get screwed by that gold league crash course bottleneck anyway. All right, and now there's one thing that's close to your heart, raids, and then Crucible is mine. Well, the next thing is yours, Scotty, and that's gonna be Alliance War. So the next Alliance War chapter, gas up your Alliance Hella character if you're flying an old model, and prep your roster for the next exciting chapter of Alliance War. Along with updated global and room rules, Chapter 5 features increased gold rewards on the War Season leaderboard. The updated rewards and rules go live on June 2nd at 1 p.m. during the defense setting period of the new chapter, with battles officially going live on June 3rd. So that's coming up really soon. Review the rules below and begin strategizing with your Alliance. I could read this all out to you. I will read the global, but basically all the rooms are kind of what they like originally were in the first iteration, right? Except the bridge. Bridge is kind of an interesting room, I guess. 10 positive effects randomly. Are they going to make the same mistake in the initial bridge where they could spawn with immunity and stuff like that? Because that is not strategical.
Like that's what it is. I feel like that wording is wrong.
Okay. I hope so. Because it used to be like, hey, if they spawn with immunity, you're going to lose this counter, right? So some specific counters require to land debuffs right away, and if there's immunity out there, it's going to be really, really bad. But let's talk about the global rules, because that's what we're going to primarily focus on. 20% primary stats to defending war-ready Hero Spider-Verse allies. If not exhausted, spawn with 2 safeguard, offense up, and defense up. On dealing piercing damage, war-ready allies apply bleed. When attacking enemies with bleed, war-ready attacking mercs for money. So that means on offense. Characters perform a secondary attack. I believe that means on offense. On turn, yeah, it's weird, eh? On turn, war-ready defending Alpha Flight characters with exactly 1 exhaust, awkward, gain regen, and if 5 Alpha Flight characters are present, gain 20% primary stats. So what kind of Spider-Verse characters are going to benefit the most from Safeguard, Offense Up, and Defense Up?
Well, I mean, Spider Society is going to be nasty. Infestation is going to be a little bit harder because a lot of the counters we use rely on like either stunning him, like because you have to flip and stun him, flip and ability block him. So that will make it a bit more difficult. I think we'll still have solutions for it. We'll put Web Warriors back on defense.
I'm not sure that'll help them, but I guess we'll find out.
I think this is mostly like to buff Spider Society more.
Yeah, and just by proxy, it's gonna help Infestation because it's gonna protect that big time right away, right? One thing that we thought was coming, because we saw it in the data mine, was this here. Where is it? It's here. 20% primary stats to defending war-ready Hero Spider-Verse allies, if not exhausted, spawn with 2 safeguard, offense up, defense up, and 50% speed bar. Now, when you play with the opening speed of characters, it can be very frustrating. But with a tag as wide as Hero Spider-Verse allies, I was actually kind of excited when I saw this, because there are so many people. You know, Spider-Woman, Infestation, big time, Spider Society, certain members of the Web Warriors could have been interested here, like a Spider-Man comes out early, puts defense down and slow on everybody. How's that going to affect something? There's so many Hero Spider-Verse characters to pull from. Do you think it's a good or bad thing to drop the speed bar? Because I know it could be frustrating to people that aren't super engaged, but I think this would have been pretty dynamic for people at the higher end, right?
I mean, I was scared for it, but I also was like, oh, that's going to be spicy.
Yeah.
Like, the New Warriors thing, when we first read it, we were like, this is kind of boring. But then we realized you could split them up and make a bunch of teams on defense, like, much harder for certain things. Like, it was kind of fun to play with. I mean, it got boring after a while. You kind of got tired of the New Warrior thing. But, like, we saw it and went, oh, God, Infestation's going to be crazy. Like, how the heck are you going to deal with big time Spider-Man if he's got immunity and 50% speed bar? I think people complained about it, and I get it, because it did also seem a bit lazy that they were just like repeating the whole New Warriors thing but giving it to a broader category. But I think they could have maybe narrowed it a bit and still kept it, because it would have been interesting. But to me, now I read this all and I'm just kind of bored by the blog today. I was like, these just sound like Infestation will be a little bit harder, Spire Society is going to be a little bit harder, but otherwise it's just boring. And I wish that they would do more for the rooms, because I also feel like we just need more buffs. Like we need armory to be bigger, hangar, barracks, like just more oomph
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, like medbay giving regeneration to defending allies. Yawn.
Yeah.
Armory, 20% primary stats to defending allies. That's what it does already. Apply defense down security. That's kind of the old safety blanket. Bridge, applying 10 positive effects. This one I think is going to cause some losses depending on RNG, depending on what it's actually doing. Hangar is the same as it used to do. 50% barrier to defending war-ready allies to adjacent. Reactor is still doing disrupted. Barracks is applying offense up to defending war-ready allies. Cargo bay is 10% primary stats to all defending war-ready allies. Engineering is still just doing defense up. With the global rules being a lot more toned down, it is kind of boring. I could foresee like maybe Tangled Web coming in here and doing something maybe interesting with the safeguard offense up and defense up. But without that speed, you're still going to be able to get some controlling effects on them right away, right? Like, you go in there with Vulture and the Superior 6 team, and you're still going to be able to go before the Weaver and get ahead of her. It's kind of, it's kind of boring. And this just kind of feels like, I feel like they were going to do that, but feedback got back to them after people were freaking out about the data mines. And instead of adding something to this, they just took something off. And it feels like that's what they did with the Spotlight raids too. They just took off a raid team. And it feels like with the Cosmic Crucible, they're like, oh shit, this sucks. Okay, just give them compensation and just don't fix it. It feels like everything is super lazy in the game right now. Those are our three main game modes, in my opinion. Like, Arena's kind of, it is what it is, right? It's kind of a corrupt system. Okay. Maybe they'll give us a Blitz event, and they'll break your save squads, and we can bitch about that, too. I don't know. I often try and look at the bright side of things, and when one thing is broken, like the Noir landing his ultimate through New Warriors having dodge, I'm like, okay, the one thing is broken in the game. It is what it is. I got a loss. Doesn't matter. Moving on. But then when raids, the new raids, a bust. War, huge snooze fest on this new global rules. Like, it's just going to be an Alpha Flight and Merc season is what it is. And then the Crucible, how everyone kind of got downgraded, and now there's lots of bugs in those rooms too. Like stage 6, people are timing out because there's like an animation of some character is gaining regens up to like 2,000. But while it's doing that, the game is like hard locked, and you can't do anything until the animation is done. So people are losing fights from that. Then you had, and this was fixed luckily, you had Old Man Logan hitting into Bucky Barnes unable to like do some sort of charge strip, and so he was completely bugging the game. And then you have the Noir issue I just talked about. Iron Patriot, if you don't have him positioned properly, he's not assisting the Cabal team. We saw that happen today. It just seems like there's a lot, and I don't like to hamper down on bugs because shit happens all the time. I'm kind of numb to it, but it feels like so much at once right now. Are they giving up on the game, Scotty?
I don't think they're giving up. I just think there's a quality control issue. And like we've had this in the past, and they came back from it and things improved. I don't know what's happening there, but it just feels like they're trying to crank out some new stuff to get people excited, and all it is just disappointing. Like I've been trying to remain quite positive as of late about stuff. Like, yeah, events have been messed up. I brought it to their attention. Sometimes they fixed it, sometimes they didn't. But like, I haven't really been like down in a while. And now, like today, I felt just down, especially just in responses to the issues. Just basically being told, eh.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping that tomorrow we'll wake up and they'll be like, we added another lane to Spotlight raids, and we're gonna give Tangled Web and Spider Society some, I don't know, like, do something for them. I don't even know what you would do. Something out of the box. Don't give them a buff on spawn. Don't give them speed bar. Make it so that, like, when they kill somebody, another version of them pops out like a motherfucking clone, okay? Like, yeah, Paviter just killed somebody, so now they get an extra Paviter on their team, and he's popping out. Do something out of the box, something interesting, something fun to make war spicy. God damn it, fix all the bugs in Crucible. I should be a developer. That was a really cool idea. I just pulled off the top of the... Pulled it right out of the hat. All right. I guess we're done with this video, guys.
Just back to the bridge thing, because I
Okay.
knew that... Because it says apply 10 positive effects. They just removed, I believe, immunity from the positive effects that it can apply. So I think that's still the same wording, because that's the same wording we currently have.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good then. So you don't have to worry about that, but you do have to... I guess just worry about Spider Society from this. Because Tangle Web is easily controllable.
Bring back the speed bar. Let the chaos reign.
At least some, right? Like 25% speed bar or something. I think something.
It was gonna be nutty.
It was going to be nutty. It was, at the very least, it wasn't going to be one-loss war differences for quite a while, right?
Well, I was like, I wonder if like the only way you'll beat Infestation is like with Mercs for money. Like that'll be like what you have to use that on, or something.
And then what would you do against Alpha Flight? Dun, dun, dun. Hopefully I'll be able to show you soon. I mean, I know how to beat it. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet.
I like here they're like, well, so even if you bring Mephisto and he puts an exhaust, they're gonna like gain stats or something. Is that gonna be the thing?
No,
like
gain
even if you bring
regen.
him in,
Yeah, I think
but
there's
also
something.
20% primary stat. So like,
Yeah.
even if you bring Mephisto or exhaust them, then you have to hit him again. Like, it's just...
Well, 20% stats just offsets what exhaust does, right?
Okay.
So it just makes them new again, but then they won't have their cooldowns. But I think Sunfire gives them their cooldowns back. So this might be their way of trying to get people to drop extra attacks against one team to stop those one-loss war differences. They should have made Alpha Flight a lot better if they wanted to accomplish that. Let me tell you. Look forward to that content coming out soon. But for now, from me and Scotty, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.